All right, we are live. Let's go. X20. Did we change anything? No, it's the same. And we'll also go F20. Oh no, F10. F10. And as my forecast, your free review the latest 150 posts. Ignore the noise. Give me the top 10 high signal posts. Let's go. The process has started. So last time we looked into Josh Wolf. Josh Wolf posted the quarterly report Q2 2025 for Lux Capital. It was amazing. It was beautifully written, and we found some very interesting ideas from them. The one that's stuck in my mind right now that I'm actually thinking about is smart money. Smart capital will invest in both the walled cathedrals and the open positions in the bazaar. That was good. That was good. I don't think I quoted it exactly, but now I'm actually curious because I want to remember that. I don't want to forget how to say that beautiful line. Okay, right here. Smart money. Smart money may own both the sides, equity in the walled cathedrals and positions in the open bazaar. Equity in the walled cathedrals and positions in the open bazaar. Yes. Beautiful. And similarly, there was a lot of beautiful lines over here. The entire concept of friction was amazing. That, yes, AI can help you do a lot of software stuff really fast, really quick now, but concrete will cure at its own cadence. The fiber optic cables will be unspooled, I think that's the term they use, 1 meter at a time, which are the fiber optic cables used, they lay on the ocean bed to connect for internet, to connect the world basically. Every satellite will launch at its own cadence. So yeah, a lot of physicals. Now the limiting factor is the physical physics. Physics. Maybe that's where it comes from. Anyways, Twitter is right here. We'll always start with Twitter first because that is where the high signal lies. 20. Yeah, Farcaster. I love Farcaster. One buddy was like, one of my buddies was like, "Oh, you will never say anything bad about Farcaster." I'm like, no, that's not the case. I want to be intellectually honest. We don't win if we just pick a side, and even if they are wrong, we keep supporting them. And I'm not saying Farcaster is wrong. I'm just saying like the quality of post is not something that is naturally it's not naturally bringing me to itself. It's not even that I'm deciding. It's just like sometimes when I come across something which is like doesn't make sense and it's like too much meme and too much stuff going on, I'm just naturally not attracted to it. So let's take a quick look. For some reason, it feels like, okay, let's see. The first post over here. We initially wanted to be launched for Korea coins, but Zora truly does its best. They have got all the right things going for them. X said no because we would induce spam. Zora integration done Solana. Not worth it right now since Farcaster TBA doesn't have that community. Alpha for we do is that noise as a case study is in progress, is and will be about internet capital markets. Okay, this working on noise app. Okay, I'll follow him. The live stream this morning onboarding Metamona, VP of Media, non-corporate media, documentary director. Metamona to Farcaster, please give her a warm welcome. We covered questions related to video content monetization opportunities on Farcaster. And this is again very interesting, like a very interesting blend of someone who understands content, the importance of media and the importance of content, as well as someone who understands the entire technical side. So Linda is doing some great work over here. Not corrupt media. I don't know if a not corrupt media is a real thing or just like a made up thing. But anyways. Oh, Linda posted the thing on X, not on Farcaster.
For those that don't know you, just more about your background and generally in the space, and then anything you'd like to share about your experience with Farcaster.
Sure. Well, thank you for having me and walking me through this onboarding. I am such a newbie, so I definitely am appreciative for this hand holding by Linda herself. So thank you for that. For those of you who don't know me, I am Mona, or people call me Mona in our space. I've been here for about 5 cycles. I came in as a broadcast journalist. I'm a former broadcast journalist with NBC affiliate. and I came into our space as a broadcast journalist. Actually, I started a YouTube channel where I started at that time. This was way before COVID, interviewing founders, and it was at the time gaming founders. And we didn't have any broadcast journalists in our space, and so the space needed some professionalism in terms of what is being produced in our space and why should people care. Was really the angle that I.
Really cool. I don't know if I should say this, but I don't know if I see someone with those duck lips. Suddenly, I feel like their worldview, I don't know, it just kind of reduces a little bit of credibility.
Went in and sort of be.
And Linda coming in, I think we are seeing like two sides over here. Where Linda is like, I don't give a shit about how I look. I just care about value. I just care about value. And then on the other side, we see this person. Now, I think a lot of people might think that this is controversial. This is not right to talk about this. But hey, this is business. This is business. If you want to go mainstream, you have to focus. If you want to go mainstream, you want to focus on every aspect of it. And beauty, you have to focus on beauty. Now, even if you look at Elon Musk, we have the photos of Elon Musk, right? Like he wasn't looking the best when he was at PayPal, when he was at whatever the first company he launched. There are photos of him. He wasn't looking the best, but people understood that, hey, if Elon Musk brands have to grow, Elon Musk as a brand has to grow. Elon Musk as a brand, as a person has to connect with people. And so we have to beautify this person. We have to add beauty to this person. Beauty is how things go mainstream. Beauty is how people generally have this halo effect and they relate to it. So we're talking about business. This is all business. Beauty is straight related to business. So if we are just talking from a business perspective, when I see this person, yes, she might have great insights, but I just see like her putting value to things. This is kind of like over exaggerated stuff. So I don't know. My brain naturally thinks less credibility. On the other hand, I think Linda, again, focuses on straight value, but I think you can focus a little bit on like beautifying, because that's how you go mainstream. That's how beauty makes you go mainstream. So yeah, just like quick thoughts. I want to make sure that I actually talk about things. I actually be intellectually honest, because again, this is all related to business. Linda is doing business over here. Linda wants her live streams to be seen by a lot of people, and they will be seen. You don't have to go something exaggerated, but you can have something soothing. You can have something soothing that has a halo effect on people, that, okay, I want to watch this. I want to hear what she has to say.
Being the middle person between the founder and the project.
It's again, what do we call it? Acquisition versus retention. Your looks is acquisition, beauty is acquisition, and then the subject, the depth is the value, is the retention mechanism.
And the mainstream audience at that time. And that sort of took me to now where I work as a media strategist with blockchain and crypto and gaming brands, where I help translate the technology or the product, not just B2C to consumer, but also to clients, current clients and future clients through different media formats. So when we chatted on X about video on Farcaster, I think I am the first one to usually jump into anything that is being created by our communities. And I did jump in, but at the time, the video capabilities were 0 to none. But luckily, I hear Linda's telling me that, now wait, girl, I'm going to show you, we do have video capabilities. So I'm just really excited to see, because for a broadcast journalist, that is the tool that we need. And I'm really excited to see what progress you guys have made.
Yeah, well, thanks for sharing, and a lot has improved on the video front. I will say, like, still not, anything compared to, like, a TikTok style yet, but we have the ability for videos, and there's also, I don't know if you've seen Base app, that's a client built on top of Farcaster by Coinbase, basically, and they are leaning heavily into videos, and so I think that's another good medium if, you really... I'm
actually not sure how's the audio over here coming out, because the audio I can now hear the audio from my laptop, and I'm not sure how it's picking up in the live stream.
Care about videos, which makes a lot of sense for your work. So I guess, did you want to start with any specific questions around Farcaster?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and feel free to show me as well. Obviously, you were gracious enough to give me some capabilities, and thank you for that. I did see that I can now post the videos. I'm sort of excited. I guess where we could start, maybe, because I want everybody else there are content creators in our space who are video first creators as well, especially certain ones that come to live streaming. We can talk about live streaming, but maybe where we can start is, what would you say exactly does video support on Farcaster, let's say, mean today? What are those capabilities?
Yeah, so right now it's basically uploading. I think you are capped at the length and size of the video, so it is not like being able to upload full-on streams or YouTube videos, but I think it goes up to maybe 10 minutes, if I recall correctly. I never hit that person myself. The idea is like maybe shorter form video content, and people are able to then discover. We have a kind of like a TikTok style feed where you can like just kind of scroll through different videos.
This is, by the way, a great mechanism. This is a great mechanism for By the way, what Linda is doing could also be a counter signal. It could be counter signal. Like people are like, oh, look at her right now. This is not how you show up to an interview. This is not how you show up to show up to an interview. And that could also go viral. So yeah, this is like everything is positioning. Everything is positioning. You are either signaling or counter signaling. All right. We'll go back to this XP. All right. High signal. But join Anthropic inference team takeaway. Yeah, I think suddenly if you get to Twitter, if you get to X, suddenly everything is like very global. Everything is global perspective. All the most interesting stuff happening on Twitter. So yeah. Here are the top 20 high signal thing, but senior meta engineer behind HHVM, Redux, PyTorch, Triton joins Anthropic to speed up Claude inference. Strong talent signal for Anthropic infra execution. Okay, so he left from Meta. I think we are going to see again a very interesting thing happen where Meta is getting the smartest people in the industry. Meta, by the way, what happened over here? Wow. Hey, Twitter was working, or this query was working so nice with the permalinks, but now it's not. Okay, we'll have to search over here, and now we find it. But anyways, all right, what we're talking about is okay, so very interesting stuff is happening in Meta. Zuck is basically now poaching the top talent around the world globally, and giving them 100 million whatever packages, 200 million packages, 500 million packages, and bringing them to Meta. And a lot of people, like, I actually met someone who is a Meta researcher, and he's like, right now there are like 2 different teams. There's an MSL team, there's another team, but I think recently also Alexander Wong's mentioned that now we're just condensing everything into one team. So a lot of reorg is happening. But he basically said that people who are already over there, now they are feeling like, yeah, like we are pretty much doing the same work, but these guys are getting paid like 10x, like 20, 100x more than us, whatever, just a random number out there. And there is some idea that, okay, we all have done good work, but suddenly these outsiders who were recently hired are like being valued more, and there is some internal tension going on. So I think we might see this, like the Meta talent that has been there for a long time, and now suddenly they feel like this outsiders are being valued more than us who have been here for a long time and have actually shipped a lot of stuff. Like PyTorch, this guy's like look at this guy. He's like, your work on foundational tech like PyTorch and Triton is a perfect background for this. So if he has worked on some very interesting stuff for a long time and he suddenly feels like he's not being valued at Meta, we will see a lot of these people who have been long-time Meta employees. They might move to other companies because now other people will try to poach them. So this is very interesting. All right. Hello, Anthropic. You're seeing a lot of interesting stuff happening after this Zuck thing. Yeah. As Josh will have Lux Capital said, Poachapalooza 2025. After 12 awesome years at Meta. 12 awesome years. Yeah, we might see a lot of this. After 12 awesome years at Meta where I contributed to foundational technology, I've decided it's time for a new adventure. I joined the inference team. I'm looking forward to making Claude even faster. Welcome. What can we write about this? Actually, let's ask Perplexity. Write a post co-tweeting Bird here about how the long-time Meta employees who might have started feeling less valued at Meta after write a post quote-tweeting Bird here about how long-time Meta employees might have started feeling less valued at Meta after Zuck poached the best brought in the best AI talent for $100 million packages. Or how Africa brought in the best talent for AI talent. Azak poached the best data for packages. Long-time Meta employees might have started feeling less valued at Meta and thinking about switching to other top AI research labs. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see, what do we get? Whoa. Compose a post tweet. All right. It went over here. Hit repost. Let's go. Wow. Okay, it's trying to write. I can see both Mayer's post by joining Anthropic's inference team. I need to create a code tweet with a specified commentary. Let me click on the repost button to access the code tweet option. Perfect. I can see the repost menu has appeared with the citation option. I'll click on citation to create a code tweet. All right, now it's time to actually write the tweet. You did the basic work. All right, today we are exploring other agentic mechanisms. I think this is something that we can keep doing, where we can keep tweeting as we are live streaming, because there are a lot of interesting ideas that we come up with, and we want to make sure that we put them out there and we test them out. We have a contact with reality. All right, go. What is happening? All right. Okay, right here. Create a code tweet with the specified commentary about meta talent retention. Congratulations to Bert. When Zuck started poaching top AI talent with 100 million plus offers, you have to wonder if long-time meta engineers who built so much foundational tech started feeling less valued and thinking about switching to other labs at the AI frontier. Congrats, Bert, on joining Anthropic. Oh, it's actually cool. All right, if I say continue, it's going to go there. It's going to hit post. Post the code tweet. Oh, wow. Okay. Your code tweet has been posted. But that was amazing. I should have actually gone and edited it just to... I will copy this and I will delete this. Okay, and I will go back to him and I will go here, citation. When Zuck started poaching top talent with 100 million offers, you have to wonder if long time. When Zuck started poaching talent with 100 million offers, you have to wonder if long-time meta engineers who built so much foundational tech started feeling less valued. I'm thinking about switching to other labs. Congrats, Bert. Joining Anthropic. When Zuck started poaching talent with 100 million offers, you have to wonder if long-time meta engineers who built so much foundational tech started feeling less valued and thinking about switching to other labs. Congrats to Bert on joining Anthropic. Okay, that looks good. Hey, that's amazing. We want to do this. Maybe we can do this. We can always make sure that we post about the high signal post. Okay, very interesting. I like this. tweet about high signal post. Okay, we'll keep doing this. This is pretty interesting. All right, because we want to participate. We cannot just be the viewer. We cannot just be the observer. We have to participate as well. This is a game. We gotta participate in the game. All right. Board was interesting. Metrics 39K likes. Oh, right here. But this doesn't work. All right. Post from the past day. Something is messing up. Andre Karpathy. LLM assisted coding workflows takeaway. Practical breakdown of Stitch workflows for optimal LLM coding emphasizes diversified composable tools over a single perfect solution. Useful for engineers adopting AI coding assistance, high engagement. Or something is messed up over here. Karpathy. Shershe. Karpathy. All right. Building Eureka Labs, Producer Director of AI at Tesla, founding team at OpenAI, Stanford, I think this is the one I try to pick up. Metrics, high engagement. Okay. Balancing AI pros and cons is the new developer skill. Sean Chauhan is definitely posting a lot. Founder building something big. Okay. Continuing the journey of optimal LLM assisted coding experience. In particular, I find that instead of narrowing in on a perfect one thing, my usage is increasingly diversifying across a few workflows that I stitch up the pros, cons. So personally, the bread and butter, 75% of my LLM assistance continues to be just cursor tab complete. This is because I find that writing concrete chunks of code comments myself and in the right pod. Also, I want to quickly search. So we have been talking about the fact that Coinbase has fired people who are not using AI at the company, but we just want to be sure about the details over here. What exactly has happened? It seemed like I just came across something which said that 33% of the people have been fired or something like that. In general, people who have refused to adopt it. But let's see. What is happening over here? Play the exact time code. Okay, I'll just go for this because this is interesting. I also don't know what is happening. One small step. All right. Now, what was it? Amazing. And also click the exact time code of the quote. It starts right as he says. No, it didn't. But hey, you got it nice. You got it pretty good. Has Coinbase fired people who didn't adopt AI? Fired employees who did not adopt AI tools as mandated by company leadership. CEO Brian Armstrong issued a company-wide order requiring all engineers to onboard AI coding assistants like GitHub Copilot and Cursor within a week, and those who failed to comply without valid reasons were terminated. Integration of AI into engineers' workflows was essentially aiming for up to 50% of company code to be AI written by the end of the quarter. Instructed that they did not need to use the tools daily at first, but had to complete onboarding to remain employed. Who had not onboarded and only employees with legitimate reasons travel were excused. Those who did not provide valid reasons were subsequently fired. Heavy-handed, emphasizing that AI adoption is now non-negotiable at Coinbase, reflecting an industry-wide push for rapid transformation and competitive advantage. The move was intended to signal urgency around AI, and the CEO acknowledged objections from some staff but insisted the policy was necessary for the company's future. So the firings continued with monthly training sessions to accelerate AI integration. That is kind of crazy. Like imagine some senior, I'm guessing these are mostly senior engineers who are getting fired because they would be against it. Like all the young people, they would be like all in on Cursor, but it's only the senior people. So interesting. Let's see. I think this is a great, yeah, for a company like Coinbase, this is like a way for them to be like, okay, we want to make sure we bring in more young energy and we bring in more people who are adaptable and move. They want to move fast and stuff like that. With similar demand is appearing at other companies and a rising expectation that AI usage is now table stakes for tech workers. Requirement to remain competitive, especially for roles involving repetitive or mundane code, and has set aggressive goals for further AI generated output. Strictly for non-compliance with internal AI adoption policies, positioning AI integration as a central aspect of the business strategy. Okay, interesting. Uh, did it involve mostly senior engineers? Regardless of seniority, reports and statements, every level required to onboard, public information specifying that senior staff as opposed to more junior engineers were specifically targeted or disproportionately affected. Not limited by rank or years of experience. Mandatory meeting explained the resistance. Terminations followed for those without valid excuses. Oh, wow. Available. This is very interesting. All engineers failing to adopt the AI tools were expected to join a mandatory meeting and explain the resistance. Terminations followed for those without valid excuses. Decision was about overall compliance, not selectively about tenure or skill level. The underlying message was that AI adoption is fundamental to working at Coinbase, starting at engineering and expanding across teams. It's really cool. You are seeing the difference between CEOs who are active on X versus not. Because you also see the recursive pattern, the beautiful effect when you are starting to code, when you are starting to use AI for a lot to build a lot of these automated workflows, because then it's a cycle that will move so fast. And your company will be able to move to its goalposts so much faster, because now you have so many agents who are doing a lot of work automatedly, and then you are working on bigger problems and then you're automating them, and now this is a cycle that keeps on feeding and the entire machine starts to work autonomously. I think for Coinbase is also very interesting, because I think Coinbase might have said that ideally Coinbase just wants to be a massive DAO, decentralized autonomous organization. And if you want to be a decentralized autonomous organization, the autonomous part is basically just AI agents. That would be very interesting. I think this is it. Like this is what we also want to do. We want to start like having these, like, you know how Scott Galloway says that I have my little soldiers who fight for me, kill and fight for me while I'm sleeping. And this is exactly what AI agents are doing. They are killing and fighting for you while you are sleeping and thinking about even bigger problems to work on. What was the Scott Galloway quote on money as soldiers going out fighting for you while you sleep? I don't want to say kill. It might trigger the YouTube policy or something, or Perplexity policy. Money, soldiers, and every dollar should be out there fighting for you while you sleep. Money is soldiers, and every dollar should be out there fighting for you while you sleep. I don't think this is the exact quote, but anyways. Crisis management. Choice is tax. What was that? Choice is a tax on time and attention. Customers want someone else to do the research and curate the options for them. Consumers don't want more choice, but more confidence in the choices presented. Choice. This is exactly what Perplexity is doing for us right now. Consumers don't want choice, but more confidence in the choices represented. Choice is a tax on time and attention. Consumers want someone else to do the research and curate the options for them. Very cool. Personally, the bread and butter of my LLM assistance continues to be just cursor tab complete. This is because I find that writing concrete chunks of code comments myself and in the right part of the code is a high bandwidth way of communicating task specification to the LLM. It's primarily about task specification bits. It takes too many bits and too much. I don't know, my buddy's calling me. He might know that I am right now in a stream, but he's still doing it maybe. Okay. When Zuck started poaching talent with 100 million offers, you have to wonder if long-time meta engineers who build so much foundational tech start feeling less value and thinking about switching to other labs. Congrats to Bert on joining Anthropic. Hey, those are pretty good, pretty good. And that's one we want to keep going. All right. We had the idea, and then I had the idea, and then I used Perplexity to say it in my words. So it's pretty cool. Continues to be just tab complete. This is because I find that writing concrete chunks of code comments myself and in the right part of the code is a high bandwidth way of communicating task specification to the LLM. It's primarily about task specification bits. It takes too many bits and too much latency to communicate about what I want in text, and it's faster to just demonstrate it in the code in the right place. Sometimes the tab complete model is annoying, so I toggle it on off a lot. Next layer up is highlighting a concrete chunk of code and asking for some kind of modification. Next layer up is Cloud Code Codex running on the side of cursor, which I go to for larger chunks of functionality that are also fairly easy to specify in a prompt. These are super helpful, but it's still mixed overall and slightly frustrating at times. I don't run in YOLO mode because they can go off track and do dumb things you didn't need. I also haven't learned to be productive using more than one instance in parallel. One already feels hard enough. I haven't figured out a good way to keep Claude.md good or up to date. I often have to do a pass of cleanups for coding style or matters of code taste. They are too defensive and often overuse try-catch statements. They often overcomplicate abstractions. They overbloat code. A nested if the else constructs when a list comprehension or a one-liner if then else would work. Or they duplicate code chunks instead of creating a nice helper function, things like that. They basically don't have a sense of taste. They are indispensable in cases where I inch into a more vibe coding territory where I'm less familiar writing some Rust recently or SQL commands or anything else I've done less of before. I also write CC to teach me things alongside the code it was writing, but that didn't work at all. It really wants to just write code a lot more than it wants to explain anything along the way. Hyperparameter tuning, which was highly amusing. They are also super helpful in all kinds of lower stakes, one-off custom visualization or utilities or debugging code that I would never write otherwise because it would have taken way too long. CC can hammer out 1,000 lines of one-off extensive visualization code just to identify a specific bug, which gets all deleted right after we find it. It's the code post-scarcity era. You can just create and then delete thousands of lines of super custom, super ephemeral code now. It's okay. It's not this precious, costly thing anymore. Finally, your defense is GPT Pro, which I go to for the hardest things. It has happened to me a few times now that I cursor CC are all stuck on a bug for 10 minutes, but when I copy paste the whole thing to 5 Pro, it goes off for 10 minutes, but then actually finds a really subtle bug. It is very strong. It can dig up all kinds of esoteric. I'm seeing a lot of people use the word esoteric. I think it's related to like spirituality stuff intended for or likely to be understood by only a small number of people with specialized knowledge or interest. Okay. You can just randomly use the word esoteric and you're like, yeah. Only few people will understand the word esoteric. Wow, esoteric is an interesting word because let's say only 5% of the people understand what the word even means, esoteric. And then even if you understand the word esoteric, within that interest, again 5% or 1% understand it. So it's like a very interesting word. Intended for, likely to be understood by only a small number of people with a specialized knowledge or interest. It's a meta word. I've also used it for other media tasks, suggestions on how to clean up abstractions, or an entire literature review around how people do this or that, and it comes back with good relevant resources, pointers. Anyway, coding feels completely blown open with possibility across a number of kinds of coding and then a number of tools with their pros cons. It's hard to avoid the feeling of anxiety around not being at the frontier of what is collectively possible, hence random Sunday shower of thoughts and a good amount of curiosity about what others are finding. I'm really happy with starting to do this high signal post because I feel like this post wouldn't randomly just pop on my feed and I wouldn't even engage with this post and I wouldn't even read it. So number one is if I wouldn't do the high signal thing, this wouldn't pop up in my on my feed. And number two, because if I wouldn't be live streaming like the setup that we have over here, I wouldn't even be reading this entire thing. But now this is very interesting. Andre Karpathy. Supabase. We are forming an alliance. Teaser of a strategic partnership could impact open source developer stack and backend infra worth monitoring for product integrations and ecosystem shifts. Recently, I heard someone say that they do not trust Supabase anymore. The Postgres development platform, and I don't know anything about this. I'm not a coder, so no idea about this. But anyways, okay, Stripe and Supabase, very interesting. Very interesting. We are forming an alliance. By the way, this is a nice photo. It's a nice photo. We are forming an alliance. Forming an alliance with Framer as well. This is more appropriate. Will Stripe support India though? Super Stripe. Let's see. ELI-Fi. What does Supabase do? Like a magic toolbox for building apps. Imagine you want to build your own special website or game, but you don't want to do all the hard parts yourself, like saving pictures, messages, or keeping track of people playing your game. Ready-made parts like storing data, logging in, and sharing things so you can build your app faster and easier, just like using building blocks instead of making every block from scratch. Got it, thank you. Just ELI-Fi everything. So very interesting. This also just makes me think like, what is Stripe talking about? What do they care about? Or is it just like cheeky pints? I also don't know. Like John Collison is doing cheeky pints, and I was just thinking about it the other day. For the guest, it makes sense. I feel like it was a funny thing that I saw. I don't know what happened at the end of the interview, but it seemed like the clip where Brian Armstrong is on cheeky pint and he's talking about Balaji. If you look at the pints, if you look at the beer glasses, John Collison is like way below. He's like almost drank 75%, 80% of it. And Brian Armstrong is like up to the brim. You can still see the, what do we call it? The fluff? No, not the fluff. What do we call it? The froth. The froth. And I don't know if Brian Armstrong actually ended up drinking that. But it's like, yeah, if you're a CEO, you are like, I cannot just relax. I cannot just relax and drink something and have fun and be chill. I gotta go in Washington DC and fight for crypto regulations, crypto legislature. But John Collison is like way down. He's like, I'm Irish. I wanna drink this beer. I wanna talk philosophy with you. And there's also something somebody said about Stripe versus Shopify. They were like, by the way, time for lip balm. But anyways, there's something that an investor said about Stripe versus Shopify, that they are like, I'm way more bullish on Shopify because if you talk to the Stripe founders, Patrick Collison, John Collison, they would talk about the business, but also get into philosophy and history and reading books and stuff like that. But if you talk to Toby, all he talks about is Shopify. And that's the reason why he said is I'm more bullish on Shopify. So very interesting. Yeah, but the point I was making is that Cheeky Pint is a great podcast they have, but I'm just surprised, like, yeah, for the guests, it's cool. Like, okay, have a beer while having the podcast, but John Collison's literally having beer every, I don't know what's the cadence, like 2 podcasts per week or 3 podcasts per week or 1 podcast per week, but he's pretty much like drinking all the time. And I don't know if that's good for like the head of a company. Brian Johnson would be really mad. The latest from Stripe are new foundation models, stablecoin products, and more. This is 7th May. Okay. Adaptive pricing is now available on the hosted invoice page. Let customers pay invoices in local currency in over 150 countries. Okay. Adaptive pricing. Got it. Buy me a coffee. Okay. The AI boom is being... Oh, yeah, right here, right here. Yeah, look at this, look at this. Brian Armstrong literally just took like one sip. He didn't even do the Guinness. The Guinness trick is on the low. I think you wanna touch the G, something like that. The AI boom is being monetized on Stripe billing. It is used by the likes of Lovable, Cursor, 11 Labs. Head of RFA at Stripe, previously VP Horizon Worlds, VP Facebook Gaming, Facebook Marketplace, Distinguished Engineer, Microsoft. Bro, Vivek Sharma is going hard. Vivek Sharma, Head of RFA, Stripe, previous VP Horizon Worlds. Horizon Worlds is Buck Norris. What is Buck Norris? Vivek Sharma is very interesting. Okay. Horizon Worlds. Oh. Yeah, Horizon Worlds was like it was the metaverse of Facebook. They shut it down. Facebook Gaming. FB Marketplace, Distinguished Engineer, Microsoft, Office 365, Microsoft Exchange, Online. I spend a lot of time listening to customers, and I hear from so many of you about the pain that comes from maintaining, connecting multiple systems to keep finance and revenue operations running. Okay, the AI boom is being monetized on Stripe billing. It is used by the likes of Lovable, Cursor. I'm actually really curious. Like Vivek Sharma, I'm actually really curious just about his status. Like it seems like Vivek Sharma, I'm guessing, I don't know anything about him, but I'm guessing he came to study in US. He did great stuff. Maybe MIT, Stanford, one of those. He became a distinguished engineer at Microsoft, then moved to Facebook, and then moved to, was there anything else? Yeah, Microsoft, Facebook, and now Stripe. I'm curious, like, how is Stripe helping him? Did he already, I'm guessing Microsoft helped him a lot with his visa process. Does he already have his American passport? And which company is helping him? Like, can one of these big companies actually help him accelerate, or what do we call it, expedite his process? Or does he still have to go through the normal process? So curious about that. But anyways, Lovable, Cursor, 11 Labs, OpenAI, Anthropic, Perplexity, Midjourney to run their revenue engines. In fact, 62% of Forbes AI 50 list uses Stripe billing today. 62%. What is the Forbes AI 50? Tell me, Forbes AI 50. Just give me, yes. AI 50, let's go. Nice design. Okay, just give it to me. New and noteworthy. Okay, we got Anysphere. Anysphere is Cursor, yes. Michael Truwell. Wait, when was this written? April 10. Wow, the world is moving fast, because this, I think the valuation is different, like 176 million. I think the valuation is different. Okay, we got Merker. We got Thinking Machine Labs. Mira Murati. We got World Labs, Fifi Lee. Wait, World Labs? Godmother of AI. A pioneer in computer vision, former head of AI at Google for Google Cloud. AI advisor to California Governor Gavin Newsom, known in the industry as the godmother of AI. Fifi Lee. Fifi Lee is basically professor at Stanford. Founded while working at Stanford's Institute of Human-Centered AI, develops AI models that analyze on physical world and generate artificial environments for people to roam and explore as in a video game, right? So we remember like seeing her from previous posts where she was talking about how you can just convert a video into an immersive environment, immersive video environment that you can explore. Useful for things like creating theme park attractions, flights, training simulations, Okay, full list, right? A Bridge, Anthropic, Anysphere, Bastion. What is Bastion? Big helper for people who want to use really smart computers in their apps. Imagine you have a cool robot that knows lots of things, but you don't know how to build the robot's house or keep it working all the time. Bastion builds the house and keeps it running so your robot can help people quickly and safely. If you want to use a smart computer brain like talking robots, drawing pictures, or making good guesses from lots of data, Bastion makes it super easy and fast without needing to know all the hard stuff about computers and servers. It's like giving your toy a home and battery, so it always works when you want to play. I think I'm gonna, if I start using ELFI a lot, I'm gonna start explaining people exactly like that. Like, oh, what does Bastion do? Oh, it's like if you have a toy, that's like your your Barbie's palace. Bastion captions, yes, captions. Clay, yes, Clay. AI GTM tool. Coactive, Cohere, Crusoe. Okay, Crusoe. I think Crusoe popped up right after the Stargate investment of Stargate OpenAI Oracle partnership. Is Stargate investment in just building these massive data centers? Databricks, Decagon, DeepL, 11 Labs, Figure AI, Fireworks, Glean, Harvey, Hebia, general purpose AI. Okay, Harvey and Hebia together. Legal automation, general purpose AI for finance and legal. Hugging Face, open source library for AI models, Lambda, LangChain, Luminance, enterprise contract automation, Merker, Midjourney, Mistral, Notion, OpenAI, Open Evidence, ChatGPT for doctors, Perplexity, AI, Photo Room, Pika, Runway, Sakana, AI models for science and research. I just want to see Sakana's website because Lux Capital mentioned a lot about Sakana AI, the AI scientist. We are building a world-class AI research lab in Tokyo. We want to develop AI solutions for Japan's needs and democratize AI in Japan. Interesting. Is it just focused on Japan? Tokyo. Samba Nova AI chip maker. Wow. AI chip maker. Samba Nova. Samba Nova. Fastest. What did it say? Fastest AI inference platform and hardware built with relentless intelligence. Unleash blistering fast AI with high efficiency, low power chips to model compute. Interesting. See, Era. Skilled AI, Snorkel AI, Speak. Stack, Blitz. Whoa, X at the bottom. Okay. Suno, Synthesia. Thinking Machine Labs Together AI with Naver Labs, Defense Intelligence Software. Wait, why am I not able to copy? Yeah. Naver, Vast Data. Windsurf is gone now. World Lab, Spatial Intelligence. Writer, XAI. What's the latest from Suno? What is the latest from Suno? Version 4.5 brings powerful features for music creators and professionals, focusing on advanced editing tools, improved vocals, and new creative workflows. Add vocals. Layer AI-generated vocals onto instrumental tracks or upload their own instrumentals and have Suno generate matching vocals. Start with a vocal recording or stem your own or generated by Suno. Create full backing tracks automatically. Inspire feature. Generate new songs inspired by a specific music taste. Okay. Extended track length. Creative sliders. Cover songs and personas. Acquisition of audio tool has integrated advanced DAW. Digital audio workstation functions including VST plugin support, sample accurate editing, stem separation, live recording, and AI-generated MIDI capabilities. Improved audio quality, upgraded song editor. Actively negotiating licensing deals and partnerships with major music labels and organizations aiming to integrate their tools professionally and address copyright concerns. Notably, Paul Sinclair was appointed Chief Music Officer to bridge AI and traditional music processes. Wow. Paul Sinclair, ex-Warner Music executive. This is the way. You just gotta bring the people. You just gotta bring the people who are, let's say, just one step below. It's like, yeah, if go to the traditional platform, and there's a CEO who cares about the business, and then there's like one executive below him who is like, I want to be the CEO, but you can be the CEO. So you just give him another path. I will make you. You just go to them and you're like, hey, I'll make you the CEO. I'll make you a C-suite executive. You go from an executive to a C-suite executive at this company. Will give you all the benefits. You get the C-suite title. And now what you do is you bring that expertise and you bring it to where the future is actually going, where the world is actually going, which is AI. Everything is going to be AI generated. And then they bring in their expertise. They bring in their relations, connections, network, and bridge it. Make it happen. Make it happen. This is very interesting. Suno is... Continue to article. Suno is getting more advanced. Acquisition. The announcement also comes as Suno attempts to strengthen its music industry connections with the recent appointment of Paul Sinclair. Where will this take us? Okay, right here. Prominent record label executives joining the leadership team of Suno, the AI music making platform that, along with rival Udio, is facing a copyright infringement lawsuit by the majors. 2 decades at Warner Music, various roles. Taking the post of Suno's chief music officer role, which he will guide how Suno's AI power tools are integrated into the process of song making. Advising Suno, Boston Quarter Company, so the general manager, executive VP of Warner's Atlantic Records. 2001 director, moved to Atlantic in 2006. Credited with being the driving force behind the label's digital department. He was named Billboard's Digital Power Players list in 2016 and 2017. Promoted to GM EVP of Atlantic Records 2019. Worked with stars such as Bruno Mars, Coldplay, Charlie, Lin-Manuel Miranda, Ed Sheeran, Janelle Monáe, Kelly Clarkson. Build a reputation in the industry as a forward-thinking leader who helps drive the technological shifts that reshape how music is created, shared, and experienced away, always with the goal of deepening the connection between artists and their fans. Intersection of music, technology, and artist development. This next journey brings all of that together in a new, inspiring way. What excites me even more is the opportunity to help shape how it's used in ways that empower artists, songwriters, and producers of all capabilities, expand creative expression, and build new bridges between music and fans. Mikey Schulman, he's excited. The unique perspective he brings to music and technology and his incredible optimism about the future of music will be invaluable as we embark on the next chapter of Suno adventure. Healthy music ecosystem that we help to build. How we imagine the future of music in a world where AI will be one of the many tools in the creative process, empowering artists and enabling more people to experience the joy of creating songs. Sony, Universal, Warner, right? So Warner Music, the place where they appointed, the exact place where they brought Paul from, they accused the startup because the business is at threat. But Paul is like, no, that's where the future is going. So I'm going to join the upstart. Sued Suno, accusing the startup valued at $500 million of using copyrighted works without permission to train its AI models. Similar lawsuit against AI company Udio as well. All but admitted to using copyrighted works in training, would argue that the user should be granted a fair use exemption to copyright law. Training AI on copyrighted works. I think again this is the exact same thing. Who was talking about this? These labels think that they own the song of the artist, but truly the artist owns their song, and they should just get permission from the artist, which actually they are representing the artist. Artist is kind of like delegating the entire process, but at the end of the day, the artist, it's like, what does Ed Sheeran think about it? That's more important than what does Sony or Universal think about it, because Sony Universal is kind of just a manager who ideally they should just be a manager who is just like, hey, I'm serving Ed Sheeran, and if Ed Sheeran thinks it's okay, then it's okay. If he doesn't think it's okay, then I'm going to represent Ed Sheeran. Actually, let's see. What does Ed Sheeran think about AI generated music? The question of whether training AI on copyright works without license or permission remains undecided in U.S. courts. Two recent rulings from U.S. federal judges handed down contradictory opinions on the matter, with one judge ruling in a case against AI company Anthropic that it does count as fair use, while another judge in a decision on a case against Meta declared that it's not. Majors are in licensing talks with Suno and Udio, which may result in the music companies taking equity stakes in the generative AI platforms. That's exactly what's going to happen. That's exactly what's going to happen. Like, I don't think they are against it. They just want to protect their business. So they are going to be like, oh, okay, we have a problem right now with you. Because anyways, if it's not, I think the it's interesting because it's like, if Sony, Universal, Warner is suing Suno right now, you are just limiting the growth, because guess what? There will be a Chinese startup that is just gonna that's just gonna train on the same thing. That is just gonna train the same thing, just from YouTube. It's gonna pirate all the content, pirate all your music. It's gonna train everything on the same thing. And guess what? You cannot sue them because they're in China. So all you care about is your business right now. All you're doing is limiting the growth of American startups right now, and that's it. But ideally, I think what they want is the same situation that we saw with Spotify, where they're like, okay, we're gonna sue you. But the only way, but we can close a deal where we get to invest in your company, something like that, at a really good price. Skepticism unease about AI-generated music, stating that he finds the technology weird and believes society should be cautious about its adoption in the music industry. Threat and creativity take away jobs, likens the rise of AI to dystopian movies where machines go too far. Publicly stated that he is not buying into the AI hype. I just find AI a bit weird. Have you not seen the movies where they kill us all? Everything is done by robots. Everyone is going to be out of the work. I think this is very interesting. Like, yeah, you have to think about the fact that, yeah, like, think about China. There are amazing people, amazing researchers over here, very smart people over there. They are going to be doing the same thing. They are creating AI generated music. They are training on all American music, and you cannot sue them. And the only problem is right now that if America, that's the goal of America, where that's the ideal goal that America should have, that okay, we should be at the forefront of the technology, we should be creating the model so that we can control it and we can understand it better before anyone else. And so if we have better technology, we can understand the better use cases of it, and we can come up with we can build a habit, we can understand how to use it better. On the other hand, if China or if someone else creates a better technology and that technology is then taken over by Americans, because obviously it's a better technology and your people just care about that, okay, which is a better product. But now, because they understand the technology better, they have a better technology, and their technology is being used by everybody, they control the technology, and this technology is the one which is used for propaganda. This technology is the one where it could be used for propaganda so much easily, because it's just like TikTok. I think there's this idea, right? Like TikTok, I actually don't know. I don't have TikTok. I don't look into it much. But there's this idea that, okay, TikTok in China is very focused on educational videos, but TikTok in America is very focused on entertainment. And that is kind of like distract the younger generation. But over there, in their own country, they are like, oh, no. It has to be used for very, very productive reasons. Despite industry rumors and satirical reports, Ed Sheeran has not seriously released music created entirely by AI. Okay. Paul Sinclair. Wait at this.
Over 10 fiat currencies, government currencies. The majors, those will probably stay around. I don't think they're going anywhere. But the dollar, Swiss franc, yeah. But the long tail, the other 150 or so government currencies, I think they probably should get replaced. I mean, they're not doing a good job. They're often abused. They're eroding the rights of people. And I think that there is a good case to be made that those should get replaced by Bitcoin and USDC, etc. I'd say, like, there's the top 5 or 10 fiat currencies, government currencies. The majors, those will probably stay around. I don't think they're going anywhere.
Interesting. He's basically saying that, yeah, the top 5 which are well managed should stay, and every other which are not well managed should be replaced with USDC. With battles against North Korean hackers, war stories about breakneck, early scaling, confronting people who won't use AI to code. Oh wow. Coinbase becoming people's primary financial account, and how banks are now embracing crypto. Losing money on every Bitcoin purchase, North Korean hackers, the everything exchange, crypto will be. Actually, I'm curious. 1054.
Isn't there some ethos and strife about the details really matter?
They do. But you deserve a delicious creamy pint, not this monstrosity.
Companies are a reflection of their founders. In many ways, probably you don't even realize.
And they are in a pub after all.
Within the first few weeks of us working together, he came back to me and he was like, I'm pretty sure we're losing money every time someone buys Bitcoin. He walked me through a whiteboard and he was right. There's the top 5 or 10 fiat currencies, but the long tail, the other 150 or so government currencies, I think they probably should get replaced. If the US is going to lose the reserve currency status, I'd rather people went to Bitcoin than to the Chinese yuan.
Deserve these sad pints, I'm sorry.
It's not meeting the stripe quality bar. Isn't there some ethos and stripe about the details really matter?
They do. But you deserve.
Wait, I don't. What was the joke?
About the details.
I'm sorry.
It's rather people went to Bitcoin than to the Chinese yuan.
Deserve these sad pints, I'm sorry.
It's not meeting the stripe quality bar. Isn't there some ethos and stripe about the details really?
He's like, how you do one thing is how you do everything.
Really matter?
They do. But you deserve a delicious creamy pint, not this monstrosity.
I actually was a bartender in grad school. I should know how to do this.
Brian Armstrong is the co-founder and CEO of Coinbase, one of the world's largest crypto exchanges. Founded in 2012, just earlier this year they became the first crypto company to be added to the S&P 500. Yes.
No, it was you.
Okay. It feels like a good time to do this and take stock. Where Stripe was, we launched in 2011. Coinbase was founded in 2012, kind of grew at the same time. Coinbase just added the S&P 500. Genius Acts just passed. So a good moment to step back and take stock.
Yeah.
I can look back on it. Like when I think about crypto in, say, the 2014, 2015 era, it was such a red ocean with so many different competitive.
Wait, I'm just curious. Did actually Brian Armstrong drink beer or not?
Actually, just
He didn't drink.
disrupt traditional finance. It's not going to be another
Time Coinbase just added the S&P 500. Genius Acts
I thought so. He wouldn't be drinking.
just passed. So a good moment to step back and take stock.
Yeah.
I can look back on it. Like when I think about crypto in, say, the 20.
And we were actually kind of legitimate and we were trustworthy. Do this.
It's kind of so stressful. Like when you, it's like, when you are not stressful, but it's such a like a habit forming. You have to have such a strong willpower, because if there's something in front of you, you are gonna take it and sip it, and it's right in front of you. It's big and it's beautiful, and the other person is actually drinking it. There's so much social pressure. There is so much just like monkey mind happening, but still Brian Armstrong was able to resist the urge.
I remember asking one of them, like, how long do you think build this? And said a team of like 10 people would take probably a couple years to really validate and everything. I was like, we have a website, we kind of. Yeah. But yeah, you're right. Once it started to really work, I think there were other challenges about keeping up. I mean, one was just the level of customer support tickets coming in. We didn't have a customer support team, so nights and weekends, we would 9 p.m. to midnight, we'd answer all support tickets after doing the other work. Yeah, I mean, at some point there was like 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 unread support tickets, and people were starting to get really angry and frustrated with us. And so we realized, okay, we have to hyperscale here. How do we build a customer support team in the next 7 days or something, right? And somebody on our team made this actually a 10-question quiz, because we couldn't interview all these people that fast. And we had these people apply online, take this quiz. It was a really hard quiz about knowledge of crypto and all these things. We did like 5-minute interviews with a bunch of them and hired them in, and we started to get up to speed. So there was a lot of problems like that we were just figuring out along the way about seat our pants.
How does the general tech public not appreciate about the cybercrime landscape?
One is that there's a lot of North Korean agents trying to work at these companies.
In the US or remotely from North Korea?
For the most part, remotely, as far as we can tell.
Remote work revolution.
Yeah, I mean, it does bring another vector. But yeah, DPRK is very interested in stealing crypto. You'd think that, well, we can collaborate with law enforcement, and we get these like dossiers of like, okay, this is a known actor, that we share sometimes with other companies. But it feels like there's 500 new people graduating every quarter from some kind of school they have that just their whole job. And in many of these cases, it's not the individual person's fault. Their family will be coerced or detained if they don't cooperate, and so it's actually they're the victim as well in many cases. But yeah, they're interviewing for these roles. I mean, we've had to do a number of things along the way, right? Well, first, some of these people are being coached offline as they're on camera, and so we force them to turn on the camera and ask them to prove they're not AI, and But we also started requiring everybody to like come to the U.S. for orientation and just really to access any kind of sensitive system, like fingerprinting them, making sure really anybody with sensitive access we make sure has U.S. citizenship and family in country, because you don't want someone to feel like they can flee and then have no fear of extradition or these kind of things. So yeah, we've had to kind of adapt all of this on the DPRK side. The other thing that was surprising to me is the willingness of these threat actors to try to bribe our customer support agents. And our customer support agents work in these facilities that are pretty locked down. They have a Chromebook that is pretty locked down. But in some cases, they've been offered hundreds of thousands of dollars to take, like, smuggle in a personal phone and take photos of a screen or something, which you think, wow, okay. Yeah. And so we've really had to lock down the kind of access that these agents have. We've started to move more of it to the US and Europe. Like, we just opened a new customer support facility in Charlotte, North Carolina, and really started to make a deterrent in the sense of when we catch people doing this and we red team it consistently, we don't lock them out the door, they go to jail. Yeah. And we try to make it very clear that this is like, you're destroying the rest of your life by taking this, even if you think whenever it's some life-changing amount of money, it's not worth going to jail. So these are the kind of things we've had to deal with now, and I'm sure the stakes will just keep getting higher.
Yeah. So more proof of physical presence, more compartmentalization, and more deterrent effect through aggressive hostage.
Good summary. Yeah.
It feels like proof of physical presence is going to become a bigger deal in a world of AI deepfakes, just higher stakes for all this kind of cybercrime and stuff. Or in a weird way, yeah, maybe you see certain areas where remote work goes backwards. People say, oh no, we want to do our customer service in the United States, or other examples like that. But yeah, it feels like physical presence is becoming more relevant on that.
Yeah. The other thing we're doing, by the way, people may have seen this too, but we turn the tables and we're actually going after threat actors too. Like we put out a $20 million bounty for information leading to the arrest or conviction of these folks who recently convicted an attack on our customers, who we made whole, by the way. But yeah, we've gotten a lot of inbound tips from that, and we're having a fun time working with law enforcement on tracking folks down. So I think that's the ultimate deterrent, is not going after insiders or something, but after the threat actors themselves, and we need to be a hard target.
Who after the DPRK are the biggest troublemakers?
There's actually some groups that are in the U.S. and they're usually like younger people in their 20s that are caught up in these hacker groups. Some of them are more mobile. They're in Eastern Europe. So sometimes it's about getting them into a U.S. extradition country, or sometimes they're over here.
And I'll take an inventory of everything.
So interesting. Wow. Jamie Dimon and the big banks on crypto. Coinbase as your primary financial account, neobanks, Bitcoin going to 1 million. Reforming accredited investor rules, squashing scams, Bitcoin preserving the American experiment. Balaji Srinivasan has a proper section. Wow. The mission first company announcement. How does Coinbase focus venture bets, and Brian vetoing USDC? Coding mandate, advice for Stripe. Advice for Stripe. Wow. Bitcoin going to 1 million is what we're interested in.
Experience. So yeah, ultimately, I think it could be a bank replacement for many people. Let's call it I like your term. The U.S. needs a neobank, since the rest of the world seems to keep having it.
Yeah. What is your prediction for the 10-year rate of growth, like average annual growth in the Bitcoin price?
The rough idea I have in my head is like we'll see $1 million Bitcoin by 2030. And there's high error bars around these things, but just to give you a couple of data points, right? It's like we're starting to see regulatory clarity emerge in the United States, which I think is a bellwether for the rest of the G20. The Genius Act passed now for stablecoins, but this market structure bill is being debated in the Senate. Fingers crossed something could happen by the end of this year. That would be a huge milestone. The United States government now has a strategic Bitcoin reserve. So that is it. If you asked me 5 years ago, that would have been kind of like vision board. Someone would have said, you're crazy, like the United States government's not going to officially hold Bitcoin. But if they do that, which is now exactly what we're to do, I think a bunch of other countries are going to do that. We've seen a lot of interest from sovereigns, right? I think Coinbase actually provides crypto services to about 140 government entities that, believe it or not, like at both federal, state, local, and internationally. So governments are now getting more and more engaged in this. And you can imagine the big pools of capital around the world, and there's a lot of, so I don't see the regulatory thing going away. That was one of the big risks, is like, is the government going to shut this down? I think that risk has been severely diminished. And then, is there going to be some flaw found?
This is also interesting. Like today, one of my buddies was asking me that, hey, have you just moved away from crypto and are you just like doing AI? And I was just thinking about it. I was like, no. Everything is interconnected now. The world is interconnected, and you cannot just silo. You cannot pigeonhole yourself into one thing. My entire career, or my entire concept has always been to never pigeonhole myself. Like even when I was I picked a program for university. I never pigeonhole myself that, okay, I'm only going to do civil. I'm only going to do software or something like that. I was doing nanotechnology. That means like nanotechnology basically means the future of every technology, the future of everything. So that was really good to just explore everything, and then that's how I also got into nanoelectronics and blah, blah, blah. But anyways, similarly now, it's not about that you just learn about crypto or you just learn about AI. You have to kind of know about everything because everything is interconnected, and then you can figure out that, okay, where does this all mesh together? But it's really important to right now just understand everything that's going on.
On the Bitcoin protocol, that's been severely combed over at this point. We need to make sure we upgrade it to post-quantum cryptography. But
I think the cards already post-quantum, or no?
They are theoretically, I believe.
It's good to nail it down.
Untested, but yeah, I believe there is a path where the Bitcoin core team and Ethereum and Solana, they're looking at proposals now to upgrade them. Yes. So yeah, I think the list of kind of risks is getting diminished. At the same time, the amount of demand, like the amount of institutional money just sitting on the sidelines waiting for this next bill to land. These are the big institutions I talk to. They're holding 1% of the portfolio in Bitcoin, and I'm like, well, we need 5 to 10, and they say regulatory clarity. That's it. So I think we'll continue to see huge inflows of capital. The ETFs have been huge.
Well, we've got that institution on the sidelines. I think the gold comparison is a very apt one in that it's a non-productive store of wealth, which I mean that's a compliment, not an insult. Yeah. And but depending on what you mean by.
Okay, this was interesting. Just like getting into Stripe. All right, let's see. Talks from leading applied AI teams: Mastra, Chroma, speakers Huber, Altman, Heller, Horthy. How to engineer context windows, practical content for building RAG. Okay. Let's see, Cherche, Y Combinator. How long have we been streaming? 1 hour. We hit already 1 hour. It's like I feel like we haven't done anything. Okay. We hosted context engineering event in SF with Mastra AI, the TypeScript framework for building agents. I like how they just put all the names over here. And try Chroma. Retrieval for AI. I just want to see Chroma's website quickly. Try Chroma. Open source search and retrieval database for AI applications, vector, full text, regex, and metadata search developed locally and scaled to petabytes in the cloud backed by object storage serverless search and retrieval that is fast, cheap, and reliable. 5 million monthly downloads, low latency search up to 10x reach, cheaper, no engineering ops. Beyond the embedding, vector indexing. Full featured, speaks your language, integrated, free, simple and powerful. Deploy, try Chroma. Newsletter, okay.
Panacea for all of humanity. AI is not a techno-machine god. It is not a panacea for all of humanity's problems. AI is a tool, but it is only useful when given the right information, the right context. For too long, search has been complicated to build and painful to scale. That changes today with Chroma Cloud. Search, that just works.
Open source serverless storage database that is fast, cost-effective, scalable, reliable. Beautiful video. Matt Balfour breaks down Chroma's context, raw technical report in this video. Excellent, accessible deep dive.
Research, and I'm going to do my best to connect what's in this technical.
Wow, Matt, beautiful setup. Beautiful setup. What are these lightings and plants?
Or two tangible takeaways for how we prompt and even how we build agentic systems, if that's something you're interested in. So, what are we talking about? Well, the good folks at Chroma, shout out to the folks at Chroma, released this technical report a couple weeks ago on context raw. And so, the whole point here. Right, if we're talking about context, context is what we pass to LLMs. It's sort of all the information, make images, make code snippets, etc., to get a result. So, kind of stepping back from
The flaw of needle in a haystack. How distractors degrade AI performance, the impact of prompt structure, why unrelated needles are easy to find, the unreliability of text replication, actionable takeaways for better prompting.
coding space, which I talk about a lot, even if you're talking with ChatGPT or Claude or whatever, if you're trying to get a certain outcome, you're thinking about the right context, the right combination of words, prompts, resources, tools.
Wait, what glasses is he wearing? Is he wearing the live streaming ones?
To get what you want. Now, if we're talking about writing code with AI, that includes code snippets, that includes
Is there a camera over here?
documentation samples, etc. All the things I've talked about in some other videos. So, context raw, how increasing input tokens impacts LLM performance. Tokens are just words, right, letters, etc. It's a technical term, but we're really breaking this down. So anybody's going to be able to understand this video. It's written by Kelly Hong, researcher at Chroma, Anton, Jeff.
Okay, cool. Jeff Huber, founder of Chroma, building with LLMs isn't about prompts or RAG, it's about context. What you put in the window shapes reliability, speed, and usefulness. Context engineering, SF. Master co-founder Sam shares how they've been pushing the limits of agent memory and how simple changes like data templates, targeted updates, and better data structures led to state-of-the-art results. Dexter, founder of Human Layer on scaling coding agents, why back and forth prompting fails, how spec for development keeps team aligned, and why everything is context engineering. Case text, Jake Heller, Mastra. Going to watch it now. Scaling Co-Counsel. Advanced context engineering for agents.
All right, everybody, my name's Jake. We're going to be talking.
I actually want to look at Chroma first.
Tonight, I want to share some thoughts about context engineering for engineers, this audience. By way of context, my name is Jeff, and I'm the founder of Chroma. Chroma, for those of you who don't know, builds a search and retrieval database. Numerous illustrious speakers have shouted out Chroma, so thank you very much. Let's get into some meat here.
User input.
your instruction set the relevant information.
Replace the buzz around prompt engineering and RAG with a broader, more accurate concept of context engineering, deciding exactly what goes in the model's context window each turn. Reliable, fast, cost-effective. Long context isn't a silver bullet. Despite massive token limits, performance on practical tasks often degrades as inputs get longer. Needle in a haystack benchmarks are easy, low reasoning, tiny portion of context matters, and don't reflect real tasks requiring broader attention and reasoning. We've also seen in our research that, lower input just works. Gather and glean models. Gather, maximize recall. Pull broadly from structured data, unstructured data. Glean, maximize precision. Prune aggressively via techniques like top case similarity, reciprocal rank fusion, learning to rank, re-rankers, even cheating with more LLM passes. Practical pipeline pattern. Generate a query plan, launch multiple retrieval probes across diverse sources, then apply multi-stage re-ranking to reduce to the highest signal snippets for the next step. Agents in memory. In multi-turn agents, the conversation history can explode, giving agents access to past failures helps them escape local minima. Feeding successes can cause lazy pattern matching. Compaction matters. Takeaway. Effective AI today is about rigorous context curation, find relevant info, remove the rest, and optimize what remains. Do this every turn and prefer focused, filtered, compacted inputs over maximal context windows for better reliability and speed. Very interesting. Okay.
Tools, you have your user input, that changes, and then you put in this matchbox, and an output comes out the other end. And yeah, this is just very much a program, and what we want to sell this to you as a techno machine god, we believe it is ultimately just software. So I will assert, Jake and I can get into physics later on this, but I will assert that context engineering is a much better term than prompt engineering or RAG. I think there's a lot of buzzwords that fly around in the AI space. Every week there's some new AI thoughtful way with their hexler emoji going crazy over some new technique. They tell you the 18 kinds of RAG you need to know about. Just stop, mute them, your life will be better. And I think that's evidenced by a lot of the things we're that's very true. What's context engineering is quite simply deciding what's in the context window. It's that simple. That includes the prompt, that may include retrieval, depending on use case. But context engineering is the right term, I believe, and I think it's great because context engineering implies the existence of context engineers. People whose jobs it is to like make this really good. Maybe even context engineering implies the existence of context engine. I'm not going to talk about that tonight, but you can go home and think about what that might mean. So we resolve our shared goal. Our shared goal is to build reliable software. This new software has some new abilities and primitives that prior software didn't. That can be pretty useful, but AI can be useful if you give it the right context. And this is ideally a reliable, fast and cheap. I do believe that engine.
Interesting. Okay. Next, A16Z growth model busters. Model busters. Okay. Three reasons the CEO needs to tell it like this. Trust. The more brains tell it like it is, the more brains working on the hard problems, the better. A good culture is like the old RIP routing protocol. Bad news travels fast, good news travels slow. Okay, which one are we talking about? Growth forecast, 8K likes. Evaluating compounding outliers. You can underwrite thousands of these companies emerging. Underwrite. Payroll and signing documents, agents unlock what has to be practical. Growth team. Okay. Wow. Highlight useful content after post for information about this. Summarize this post. David George, 83. Head growth fund. The key is not the will to win. Everybody has that. It is the will to prepare to win. Is the will to prepare to win that is important. Studied model busters companies that outgrow conventional forecasts because old assumptions miss new platform shifts. Growth team studied model busters companies that outgrow conventional forecasts because old assumptions miss new platform shifts. Apple analysts underestimated iPhone's value 3x. Apple's integrated hardware software services platform compounded value. Roblox miscast as a kids game, actually a cloud-based creator economy whose maturing creators fueled a flywheel into older cohorts. Wow. That is actually so interesting. Like all the kids who grew up on Roblox, they are going to get older. And when they're going to get older, they are going to bring all this knowledge, all these relationships that they build in Roblox into, now they are the older cohort. And that is going to affect, wow. Yeah, any product that gets people, that truly helps a lot of kids build relationships is going to be a game changer, because if you just wait enough, your cohort of young kids, like 5 to 10, who build really strong relationships, entire culture around your game or around your product, around your network, they are going to grow. And when in 10 years they turn 20, now they are the adolescents and they have a lot of memories, a lot of relationship from your economy, from your network, and that is going to evolve somehow. That is going to become the mainstream thing right now, because they are going to go from 20 to 30 and they're going to carry the same friendships, same relationships, and all of that comes via your network. I can see that same thing happening with me over here. I can see maybe the same thing happening with me over here where, very interesting, very interesting. All right. Analysts underestimated iPhone's value 3x Apple integrated hardware software services platform compounded value. Miscast as a kid's game. Actually, a cloud-based creator economy whose maturing creators fueled a flywheel into older cohorts. CrowdStrike from point solution market to a single Asian platform that's hard to replace, expanding via software-activated modules. Anduril rejected cost-plus norms, built sold products into DoD, unlocking a vast budget previously inaccessible to startups. Rejected cost-plus norms, built sold products into DoD, unlocking a vast budget previously inaccessible to startups. Interesting, interesting. Spent a lot of time studying model busters, companies that grow faster and for much longer than anyone expected. One of the clearest lessons is that models anchored in yesterday's assumptions produce forecasts that miss tomorrow's breakthroughs. Models anchored in yesterday's assumptions produce forecasts that miss tomorrow's breakthroughs. Already one of the world's biggest companies and analysts still underestimated the value of the iPhone by nearly 3x, while analysts bet that phones would become commodities. Apple integrated hardware, software, and services to build a platform that became more valuable over time. Most analysts dismiss Roblox as just another kid's game, but David Baszucki was building a cloud-based creator economy that relied on its own ecosystem to expand to older users. As the platform's young creators grew up and made better games, they kicked off a flywheel that created better games, more engaged. As platforms' young creators grew up and made better games, they kicked off a flywheel that created better games, more engaged users, stronger expansion into other cohorts, and ultimately growth far beyond what others modeled. That is very interesting. That is very interesting, right? So like kids are young, kids start playing games, and now this is just like iteration. This is like constant iteration. Like you are a kid, you were able to create your own world, very basic world, and now as you're growing older, you want to create better and better world, and you want to keep iterating, and that's kind of your identity now. That I make Roblox games, and as you're growing older, your skills are getting better. You are investing more into it, and you're making even better games, and now you might be able to actually attract the older cohorts because your games are actually really good. Roblox are basically AI-generated video games. Wow. What is the latest update from Roblox? I have a friend who works at Roblox. I'm just like never into games because I just feel that's like a waste of time. I don't want to spend too much time in front of my computer. And I don't want to build all... Actually, everything I'm saying is counteractive right now. Like most of my relationships right now are... I do want to go outside in the sun, walk, grab my latte, be in the nature. Yesterday I had a great walk in the nature, deep nature into the forest. That was amazing. But yeah, most of my relationships right now are being built on X with really smart people, and we're just like sharing very interesting things. So very interesting. Game feature updates. Grow a Garden received the admin war update, which is part 2 of the ongoing Beanstalk event, adding special events, epic weather changes, and unique rewards for players. Street of Brain Rot launched a special tie-in event connected to the admin war. Blocks Fruits rework alongside fishing system and potion crafting mechanics. Platform creator updates. Roblox introduced a new handheld emulator for Studio, allowing creators to optimize and test their games for devices of any size. Enhancements to API were released, aiding cross-platform development with more efficient and robust tools. Launch strengthened safety tools, new content restrictions for the limits regarding unrated experiences and adult theme spaces. Upcoming features. In-experience avatar switcher and expanded support for item level price recommendations to arrive soon. What is explore new features that go on? What is the mission of Roblox? Let's see. Connect a billion people every day with optimism and civility, emphasizing positive human connections through immersive shared experiences. Support millions of creators, empowering them to build amazing experiences and content for a global audience. This is interesting because like on X you are building, you're just making text. Or in Roblox you are building experiences. So very interesting. I think, yeah, very interesting, very interesting. The platform supports millions of creators, empowering them to build amazing experiences on content for a global audience. Civility, safety, inclusivity for users of all ages. Belonging, aiming to create an environment that nurtures innovation and authentic social interaction. Defense contractors favored cost-plus contracts. The more you spend, the more you made. So innovation was penalized. The more you spend, the more you paid. The more you made. Anduril took the opposite, but they built products on their own. Yeah, this is exactly the thing. This is exactly the thing with the entire freelancer economy, that they will be like, oh, first revision, $500. Second revision, $200. Third revision, another $200. So it's like they have the incentive to keep you in the revision hell, and you gotta change that. You gotta change their incentive. Their incentive now, if that's how they are getting paid, their incentive is to never ship the best product. So you have to change the game. You have to be like, hey, if it's a 10 on 10, I'll pay you a really high price. But if it's a very big average thing, I'll not pay you. I don't want to work with you. Anduril took the opposite, by they built products on their own, leveraged their founders' experience navigating the DoD's procurement to sell those products into the government, and opened up a $3 trillion budget that until then had been practically impossible for startups to attack. Sell those products into the government and opened up a $3 trillion budget that until then had been practically impossible for startups to attack. These success stories reveal something deeper about how markets and investors investors evaluate genuinely new business models and products. They are great at forecasting the incremental, but when there are platform shifts and 10x better products come to market, they consistently underestimate how fast and broad the adoption of a disruptive technology can be. Model busters, consensus estimates versus actual performance. CrowdStrike, Anduril, continuation of a trend. Actual. Really cool. All right, let's go over here. So I met Uber's on autonomy approaches. Uber's suggests near-term superiority of multi-sensor Waymo for superhuman safety, important industry positioning on AV tech stacks. Superhuman safety. Why did Perplexity mess this up today? My buddy's working, one of my buddies working at Boston Dynamics. When I said buddy, he's basically from Waterloo. Russell Wong. Boston Dynamics has released a new video of their next generation humanoid robot. We are excited to share some of our progress on developing large behavioral models for Atlas. This work is part of a collaboration between AI research teams at Toyota Research Institute and Boston Dynamics. We have been building end-to-end language condition policies that enable Atlas to accomplish long horizon manipulation. Really cool. Okay, I also just messaged Russell. Keep going. All right. Tom Nash. I am Tom Nash. Musk on power infrastructure. Signals Elon's interest in U.S. power grid alongside rockets, and AI implies potential Tesla SpaceX just moves energy info and policy narrative. Sure, Shay. Let's go. I'm Tom Nash. Why? I'm bullish on Palantir.
Palantir.
Where's this thing? Signals Elon's interest. Post from August 24. Wait, what is this? Oh, there's a different Tom Nash. Okay, this is the Tom Nash you're looking for. This is also Palantir. Okay. Every Elon headline looks chaotic today, then obvious tomorrow. That's disruption. This was interesting. There will be universal high income, not merely basic income. Everyone will have the best medical care, food, home, transport, and everything else. Sustainable abundance. Sustainable abundance. How's everyone's week? Another week, another reminder the market is not boring. If anything, it's starting to look more like a reality show. Elon is reportedly chatting with Zuck about financing a takeover bid for OpenAI. Yes, the same Elon who quit OpenAI years ago because he didn't like where it was heading. And yes, the same Zuck who once prepped for a cage fight with him. Wow. Wait, is it the same Tom Nash? You don't know. So he just talks about Tesla and Palantir. Okay, it's the same Tom Nash. Okay, now we don't know what's the thing he was talking about. Signals Elon's interest in US power grid alongside rockets and AI implies potential Tesla SpaceX. It just moves in energy infrastructure and policy narrative. Elon is getting into everything. He's got into Microsoft. He's going to get into everything. Okay, Toby Lutka. Bezos wealth created ranking. This is very bad. Perplexity, fix it. Toby, not this Toby. This Toby. Watch the world shop live. That's a sick photo. Had this wild and wonderful conversation with Rick Rubin. Turns out having a legendary producer excavate your brain about code, craft, commerce, culture, racing, and AI is oddly therapeutic. Oh, Marshy, what is this? Chrome Micro Fork Starship Prom new icon. The icon is cool. DHH. Europe Copenhagen. Copenhagen. Right here. Somebody needs to make a list where they rank people by how much wealth they have created for other people, instead of the Forbes list where it ranks you by your own wealth. Amazon's market cap is 2.3 trillion today. I own about 200 billion-ish of it. So if you take 2.3 trillion and subtract out the piece I kept for myself, then I've created something like 2.1 trillion of wealth for other people. That should put me pretty high on some kind of list. And that's a better list. How much wealth have you created for other people?
And throughout your whole career at Amazon, it appears to me like you paid yourself about $80,000 a year in total. Yeah. Cash, comp. And never took additional equity in the company the entire time.
No, I never did. And I asked the comp committee of the board not to give me any comp. And my view was, I was a founder. I already owned a significant amount of the company, and I just didn't feel good about taking more. I felt I had plenty of incentive. It was, I owned, more than 10% of the company. More than earlier, before it was diluted by various things, more than 20% of the company, and it was. I just felt, how could I possibly need more incentive than owning such a, and most founders own big chunks of the company. They don't really need, they're more like owner operators. The way they increase their wealth is not by getting more equity. They just want to make the equity they have more valuable. And so I just would have felt icky about it. And I'm actually very proud of that decision. I sometimes wish that there were and maybe you can do this, Andrew, or maybe the Washington Post will do this, but somebody needs to make a list where they rank people by how much wealth they've created for other people. And so instead of the Forbes list, it ranks you by your own wealth. So, Amazon's market cap is 2.3 trillion today. I own about, 200 billion-ish of it. So if you take 3.3 billion and subtract out the piece I have for myself, then, I've created something like 2.1 trillion of wealth for other people. That should put me pretty high on some kind of list. And that's a better list. How much wealth have you created for other people? People like just NVIDIA, it's going to be very high on that list. And that would be a pretty cool list. Somebody should do that list. I think that is a very cool list.
Follow your daily tips on AI and growth. I have a free podcast with 56K listeners in my bio if you want more. My premium newsletter has 182K subscribers and is for those of you who want to go deeper. Jensen Huang coughing right now, man, it's quite high on this ranking. Yes, that list would be a cool list. That list would be a cool list. Hey, just make it. Create a list of top 10 people. Actually, let's go there. Toby. Why are we waiting for things? Okay. Create a list of top 10 people who created the most wealth for other people and generated the most wealth for other based on Bezos' concept. Through Microsoft and related investments, he has created nearly 3.8 trillion in wealth for others. Total market cap is about 2.3 trillion, while Bezos owned roughly 200, thus he created about 2.1 trillion for others. With companies like Tesla, SpaceX, and more, Musk is estimated to have generated around 1.75 trillion for shareholders and stakeholders beyond his own wealth. Andrew Carnegie, adjusted for inflation, he gave away 90% of his 309 billion fortune for an immense philanthropic and business value. Henry Ford created the mass market automobile and introduced modern labor practices, building about 838 billion in value for others by current measures. Through Berkshire Hathaway, his investments have made hundreds of billions in wealth for others. Larry Page, Sergey Brin, co-founders of Google, whose products and company value have hugely enriched employees, investors, and technology sector. Massive value reaching into hundreds of billions for others. Steve Jobs built the world's biggest retailer, spreading unprecedented economic value. Based on current market caps, historical data, and the ripple effects documented for these founders and leaders, the exact ordering and figures, especially beyond the top three, can be debated, but these names consistently appear in the assessments of those who have changed the wealth landscape for others, not just themselves. Build the world's biggest retailer, spreading unprecedented economic value creation to countless stakeholders. What if I link, copy, paste to share? And what if I share this? Create a list of top 10 people who created the most wealth for other people. Interesting. Toby Lutka. Kunal Shah, time as wealth leading indicator. We love Kunal Shah. Yeah, Kunal, I just recently heard about Kunal Shah again, but there was a time when I was like, I think Kunal Shah was the Nawal for me. And we were just like listening to him all the time. But anyways, he wrote this post on August 24, yesterday, alright. It's impossible to make the audience feel something when the creator doesn't feel even more intensely. A creative is often parting with part of their soul when they create something that touches Souls. Wow, we're just talking soul touching over here. Not subscription, revenue, augmentation. Not creating shareholder value. A huge leading indicator of a society becoming wealthy is them valuing their time a lot. You will never find a society that's wealthy but isn't extremely conscious of their time. Wealthy societies treat time as finite resource. Non-wealthy think there's infinite time left. Wow, wow, wow. This is very interesting. This is very interesting. I was talking to someone, like I was talking to this girl who was from Switzerland yesterday, and she was reading the Bible, and we started talking, and she was talking about, and I was like, okay, what's the lesson you got from the Bible? She's like, just love. We should be loving more. Why are we wasting our time hating and stuff like that? And I think the perspective she was coming from is that she's in Switzerland, and Switzerland is very close to both the wars that are happening, and that is having like more impact into the country because a lot of people are moving over there, and there are like protests on the streets and stuff like that. So that just also made me realize, like, yesterday there was a beautiful day, a beautiful Sunday morning, and I'm going for just to grab a smoothie, and I'm just like, I'm gonna walk, I'm gonna watch the sunset, beautiful sunset, and then there are some people protesting, and then there's someone else shouting on them, and then the entire bridge has been spray painted with some stuff, and that just made me think, like, hey, you are so lucky right now that you escaped the war zone, and now you are living in the beautiful Canada, and maybe you should be raising the Canadian flag and be proud of it. Yeah, I don't know. I think you have been given an opportunity. We are given an opportunity to be in a very peaceful society, and we should be grateful for that. We should be grateful that we are in a place where the sun is shining so bright, the mountains are beautiful, the water is beautiful, and the day is so beautiful. You can go out on a walk, and I don't find a reason why would you. I might be totally gullible over here, but I don't know. I think you should be raising the Canadian flag for giving you a space which is peaceful, and yeah, there should be no reason for you to fight over here when you escape the fight. Yeah, so interesting. So this is very relevant. A huge leading indicator of a society becoming wealthy is them valuing the time a lot. You will never find a society that's wealthy but isn't extremely conscious of their time. Wealthy societies, and this is exactly the reason why you never see like like, sometimes I also think about it, like, it's only in developing countries where you see a lot of people out for rallies and protests and stuff like that, because that is how they find belonging with other community. That is just a way for them to find belonging. But if you look at people who are actually working hard and you care about their career and building themselves and improving themselves, they are like, bro, I don't have time to do that. I don't even have time to do that. Like, I would rather build my own thing. I would rather build my own business. So it's very interesting. A huge leading indicator of a society becoming wealthy is them valuing their time a lot. You will never find a society that's wealthy but isn't extremely conscious of their time. Wealthy societies treat time as finite resource. Non-wealthy think there's infinite time left. Dylan Field, Zoink, editorial style preference. Wait, can you just no? Yeah, we need to stop closing Twitter again. Zoink, and he's talking about lighthearted but signal spark design, communication norms, M- versus Oxford, concordant with design leadership preferences influencing product copy standards. Pro, M-, anti, Oxford, don't at me. I don't know what's an Oxford, What's an Oxford, So right about M-, so wrong about Oxford, I chose violence this morning. Serial comma is the final comma in a list of 3 or more items placed before the word and, or, for example, I bought apples, oranges, and bananas. Some style guides require the Oxford comma as it can help prevent ambiguity, while others consider it optional. Yes, removing ambiguity is forgivable. only for better phrasing, or when it resolves ambiguity. I was going down the street with my mates and I bought strawberries, bananas, and oranges. Eats, shoots, and leaves. Removing ambiguity is forgivable. Dylan Field, A16Z, every workflow is a vertical AI company. No. Yeah, stop closing Twitter again. It's time to build. That's beautiful, by the way. It's beautiful. It's beautiful what they have done with their branding, and it stands out. I don't know who are these people who hated on it. I'm like, I love it. Why are you hating on it? The color, it's very, what do they call it? Pax Americana, or just like, I forgot what it's called. We looked into it. We did a stream on this. Wow. Art Deco. All right. Where's the vertical AI? All right, here. Every workflow is a vertical AI company waiting to be built. Entire companies were built around payroll and signing documents. Agents unlock what hasn't been practical. Levy, you can underwrite thousands of these companies emerge.
The opportunity, to your point, is it may be the case that today, just like with APIs, one company will have a whole bunch of agents. It may be the case in the future that a third party will provide that agent as an independent. Well, it's the opportunity, to your point, is really there for that. Yeah. Because like it used to be like the impedance to creating a company and distributing. No, exactly. It's ridiculous to think that a single API like Auth can become a company. Or it used to be ridiculous to think you could build a whole company out of signing documents. Right. And it's not just a whole company, but now all of a sudden you realize, wow, the addressable market for that is huge, and it's way bigger than signing because of all the stuff that got done that was surrounding baked into a company causing headcount and waste and abundant fraud and abuse. Well, I think you can kind of underwrite thousands of these companies emerging. So Jerry Friedman had a tweet about basically.
That's pretty cool. He's like, Jerry Friedman had a tweet, and it's literally like a quote tweet of that.
Like go deep on a workflow, basically do the job of some part of the economy, payroll specialist, and then build an agent for that. And it's not obvious that there's not literally like 1,000 of those.
It's entire companies were built around payroll and signing documents. Agents unlock what hasn't been practical. If you're building an AI agent to automate some job, like a payroll specialist, the hardcore move is to just go get that job and do it for a while. We call this going undercover, and we are seeing some of the top founders do it. It's the best way to learn what to build. Buoyant, Slat, ocean cleanup, Jamaica, rivers, field update, large appliances, recover on the ground data. Okay, very, very interesting. Something totally out of the blue. I think after 10, we get into the zone where it's like, okay, it's high signal, but it's not from these, what do we call that? It's not from these A16Z and Y Combinator. The number of fridges we are pulling out of Jamaica's river never ceases to amaze me. Fridges. Buoyant's lad studied aerospace engineering, becomes a cleaner. Founder CEO of the ocean cleanup. So what's the plan? You just do this indefinitely or have to offer back and redo this every few years? It's permanently installed. Looks like the Maytag Repair Center. It's permanently installed. Buoyant's lad, the ocean cleanup. Okay, very interesting. I'll follow. Studied aerospace engineering, becomes a cleaner. Founder CEO of the ocean cleanup. Massively scaling up interceptor projects in the coming years. Interceptor. 30 cities stopping up to 1/3 of plastic pollutions flowing out of rivers globally, all by 2030. What's one fact or stat from your field that people are always surprised about? I'll start. Less than 0.1% of plastic produced. Less than 0.1% of plastic produced ends up in the ocean. Whoa, what does that mean? Where does the remaining go? Unfathomably large amount. True, but according to Gapminder survey, 86% of people think more than a third of all plastic ends up in ocean. Mostly yes, and then there's burning, informal dump sites, recycling, littering on land. Surprising things about, oh wow, Paul Graham. Writing, the degree to which good writing is rewriting. Lisp, how useful it is to be able to write programs that write programs. Yes, startups. The best way to get startup ideas is by accident, by working on projects that aren't meant to be companies. The full name of Bangkok is actually blah 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 blah. Cancer medicine, less than 20% promising preclinical findings. Those exciting pop news articles make it to human trials. Drugs that do make it take around 10 to 15 years of trials and safety monitoring before being approved. Interesting, very interesting. Jackson Dahl. Oh wow, dialectic pod partnerships, actively seeking brand partners with pipeline of high caliber. Actively seeking brand partners with pipeline of high caliber guest and expansion to video. Opportunity, note for brand growth alignment with the rising podcast. Good traction. Yeah, he has a nice podcast. He has been interviewing some very interesting people. Now he wants to go video because video is the way to do it. And also you have video is the way to do it. And also now there are brands like Ramp and Brex that will just go on and 25 lessons from 25 episodes. Dialectic. I'm looking for a few long-term brand partners who want to support Dialectic Pod and grow with me. I have some incredible guests lined up in the next few months, several with video. As part of that, I'm looking to invest more resources to help the show meet its potential. Several people have said, called a Dialectic episode their favorite podcast of the year. See more praise below. And the quoted tweet for learnings I have had from this show. If you're interested in reaching Dialectic's curious, ambitious, and intellectually diverse listener base that includes several of the show's guests, please reach out to pod@jacksondal.com. Okay, no names. This is a quick note of appreciation to share just how much I have come to enjoy Dialectic. Like many, I spend every spare minute listening to podcasts, trying to learn something new. Dialectic has reminded me that it's still possible to build something strange and exciting in crowded places. It's unusual to find such a colorful mix of guest topics and great questions. I look forward to every new episode. What a lovely interaction I have had looking for Alice pinned in my browser for several weeks now, despite having read it a dozen times over the last year or two, and have been listening to your podcast since you interviewed Nabil. Jackson, you have eclipsed Tyler Cohen as my go-to podcast interviewer. I look forward to future episode. This is very interesting because it's like there are two things. It's not only you being extremely curious. Like yesterday what happened is like I was at the beach and I just met this old man and I was just like, hey, good day, right? And then we started talking and I'm just really curious, so I started asking him too many questions, and then I can feel that like, you know, he's like, why is this guy asking me so many deep questions? What does he want from me? And that is the thing, like, one is just being extremely curious, good questions, but the other thing is also the kind of guests you are able to attract. So Jackson has a very interesting network of just really smart people, and these are smart people who are not just engineers but also like thinkers. And I think that is the difference between SF and New York. Like in SF, you will find a lot of builders who are amazing at doing their thing, executing. In New York, you will find a lot of creatives and people who also understand the world, but who are really focused on the creative side of it. And I think those are the places where you can have very interesting conversations. So Jackson being in New York, I think he's making the most out of it. Jackson, you have eclipsed Tyler Cohen as my go-to podcast interview. I look forward to future episodes. Jackson does not miss. Beautiful convo with Kepano, Steph, Andrew. I think Kepano is the one with the face emoji about control versus scale, letting curiosity grow. Good trust versus blind trust, associating pain with learning. Good pain versus bad pain. Dialectic is deeply human and one of my favorite recent podcast finds. Just finished listening to your podcast with Nabil. Excellent conversation throughout. Perhaps the best podcast I've listened to this year. They feel simultaneously intellectual and personal, which stands out. Intellectual stimulation. I think I listened to one with Tina Hay. I think that was beautiful. I just randomly found out from his Instagram. I listened to it. I also sent him a note. Yeah, I really hope you find someone amazing. And I'm guessing it's going to be Ramp or Brex. It's Ramp or Brex. Just finish listening to your podcast from the Beat. Excellent conversation, okay? The part that stands out for me is authenticity, a landscape where most tech podcasts feature guests pushing products or ideas. Dialectic focuses on the human. It's refreshing. Most tech podcasts feature guests pushing products or ideas. Products or ideas. Dialectic focuses on the human. It's refreshing. Every guest has been exceptional. Interesting. The part that stands out to me is authenticity. In a landscape where most tech podcasts feature guests pushing products or ideas, dialectic focuses on the human. Dialectic. What does dialectic mean? The art of investigating or discussing the truth of opinions. The art of investigating or discussing the truth of opinions. Hey dude, quick note of appreciation. I continue to be blown away by the pod. You do an incredible job of getting to the heart of beliefs, philosophies, and ideals of your guests. Heart of beliefs, philosophies, and ideals of your guests. The Tina Hay, yes, and Jacob Horn. I think I heard both of them. I might have heard both of them. I don't remember. No, I don't remember Jacob Horn. I definitely went down a research of Jacob Horn. But I don't know if I listened to this episode. But Tina Hay, definitely, yeah, that's amazing. Tina Hay was amazing. I don't remember, but I just remember it being something where I can see like people in New York having that conversation. People who are like intellectually curious. The Tina Hay and Jacob Horn episodes were really exceptional. And Wolf was great as well. Oh, was it Josh Wolf? I leave the listens with dozens of new rabbit holes, ideas to ponder, inspirational for what's possible in the years ahead. Appreciate the continuous great conversations. Each makes me want to be better at something. I love going down rabbit holes, and an episode of Dialectic feels like I am getting a tour rather than digging myself to the 0.01% and beyond. Dialectic has become my favorite podcast. 18 episodes in, and endless notes and rabbit holes to explore. Thank you. Okay. This was 2 hours ago. Okay. Lego for software. Independent AI consultant. A16Z scout. Creator of instructor. Creator or instructor. Wait, I think I read something wrong. Creator of instructor. Alright. Plant the seed. I spent much of my life evaluating seeds in my hand without any of them making contact with soil. I considered variations of an interview show for a long time, but always had too many ideas for what shape was needed before I could start. I finally relented, thanks to some strong encouragement from friends, and put a seed in soil. The sprout isn't exactly what I had in mind, and that's the best part. The sprout isn't exactly what I had in mind, and that's the best part. With Dialectic, I finally relented, thanks to some strong encouragement. Wow. Courage is you having courage. Encourage is giving someone else courage. Huh. How is the word encourage related to courage? Inspire with courage, as literally means to inspire with courage or to put courage into someone, right? Through words or actions. Wow. Okay. Etymology and meaning. The word encourage comes from Old French word courage, which itself traces back to the Latin cor, meaning cor, meaning heart. To encourage someone is to instill or foster courage within them, helping them face challenges, fears, or difficulties. I'm encouraging you. I am giving you courage. I'm feeding courage into you. Encourage is made up of N, meaning to put into. I'm putting courage into you. to put into encourage. Thus, when someone encourages another, they are putting courage into them. Emotional and practical impact. Offering encouragement helps people feel confident and hopeful, motivating them to persevere. Oh, I'm saying in French. Persevere, or try new things even when anxious or uncertain. Encouragement is not merely support from the sideline. It acknowledges and strengthens the inherent courage within others so they can act and grow. Words of encouragement have measurable effects on the brain, lowering stress and boosting motivation, which helps strengthen and expands one's courage. Encouragement can be offered through a smile, a kind word, a written note, or sincere affirmation, all of which can empower someone to take courageous steps or persist through adversity. In communities, encouragement is a powerful way to build resistance, help others feel seen, and foster mutual growth. Wow. There's still room. I remember watching YouTube vloggers in the summer of 2030 and thinking this would be cool to try, but I'm surely too late. YouTube is mature. Casey Neistat, David Dobrik, and Emma Chamberlain had not started creating videos. Mr. Beast probably had a few hundred viewers. I felt the same about interview podcasts. One listener said this about the show. Dialectic has reminded me that it's still possible to build something strange and exciting in crowded places. You know what you need to do. Strangely, a few people told me variations of this over the course of an extended period of exploration. Was frustrating to hear, but directionally true. You know what you need to do. You know what you need to do. Strangely, a few people told me variations of this over the course of an extended period of exploration. Was frustrating to hear, but directionally true. When you have a running list of people you would like to interview someday in your notes app for the better part of a decade, and the most recurring pattern in your life is a compulsive desire to meet interesting people and ask them questions, well, perhaps you know what you need to do. Have a running list of people you would like to interview someday in your notes app for the better part of a decade, and the most recurring pattern in your life is a compulsive desire to meet interesting people and ask them questions, well, perhaps you know what you need to do. It's about the guest. No matter how much I might try to convince myself otherwise, dialectic's success is because of the guest I choose to talk to. 75% of episode quality is the guest selection. At least, that means all my other effort is contributing to at most 25%. Follow the rabbit socially. Speaking of guests, many of them have come out of my research or conversations in prior episodes. Shockingly, authentic, inspiring, and original people tend to know and admire each other. Shockingly, authentic, inspiring, and original people tend to know and admire each other. The well is infinite. Again, the world and the internet is full of so many original people with all kinds of loose threads that can be pulled. Photomat once told me, Matt Mullenweg, I can think, I can wait, I can fast. Everyone's interesting. If you're bored, you are not asking the right questions. Illegibility can be a feature. Ciao, Mac. Mackenzie Burnett. Oh, I know. Mbrook. One of my friends works here. Mbrook. It's related to agriculture, I think. Told me agriculture software or something like that. Agriculture accounting. I forgot. Told me early on that there are benefits to illegibility, at least for a time. There will be a time to be legible, but in the formative period of a project, let things be illegible and focus on your own curiosity, energy, and exploration. Let the dots connect. Despite dialectics, illegibility and consistency of theme patterns have emerged. As Steve Jobs used to say, the dots connect in reverse. It's been fun to realize various tracks of ideas, tools, agency, slop and intention, culture and taste, authenticity in hindsight. Tools, agency, slop and intention, culture and taste, authenticity, etc. in hindsight. Yeah, if I also think about this is very interesting to see because we are pretty much on the same path. Like for last 1 year now, less than a year, 10 months now, 11 months now, I've been working on this. This is my thing now. And it's pretty cool to see like how I have some ideas of taste and how that has been evolving slowly and slowly. Let the dots connect. Tools, agency, but obviously I don't have the same kind of, recommendations or same kind of appreciation testimonials like Jackson. Jackson has a lot, and that's amazing. Tools, agency, slop and intention, culture and taste, authenticity in hindsight. Lead with curiosity. Some people have asked about my preparation process. For most guests, I just read and listen to as much of their content as I can, write down the quotes and ideas that stand out. I don't think about through lines and questions or themes, I just collect. Benjamin compares fiction writing to picking flowers up off the ground. After I've collected a bunch of scraps, I synthesize and plenty of patterns emerge, but it starts with the inputs. Plans are worthless. Planning is priceless. We Visakan. All great craft combines rigorous preparation and skill with a certain looseness, almost a playfulness. Masters like Coen brothers seem completely at ease, but that is built on a foundation of having done the work. I found myself in a paradox where the more preparation I do, the more tempted I am to cling to the plan. My best conversations are those when I let go a bit and trust myself to really be there to listen. This is so interesting. Like, even when I was doing the podcast, I remember that. Like, I would usually prepare questions to ask them, but then I had this one podcast where I'm like, I'll just start with the first question, and now it's a conversation. Now I only ask the first question. I never ask the second question. Never ask the second question. Everything should just flow from the first question. Never ask the second question. Yeah, I think that was it. Like, the conversation should be a flow, and the flow should keep flowing. Am I really listening? As I spend most of my life continuing to more deeply learn, true listening is a sacred and remarkably difficult act. Most of my listening is in fact LARP, holding space for another until I can say the next thing, or more insidiously waiting for the first interesting bit I can launch off of. Kevin Kelly's rule of 3 has it closer to right, asking, is there more? 2 times shows how much more people have to say. Presence creates magic. There are lots of great podcasts that happen over video call, but for me, it has to happen in a room with the person. Some of this is because of the length, and if I don't know someone well, meeting them where they are helps ease us in. But more than that, there's just too many invisible parts of connection that happen in the real world that you can get when conversations are intermediated by the bits. Physical spaces shape us. On the note of presence, I have been fortunate to talk to many guests in their homes or office. This creates an opportunity to meet them where they are and shine a light on their authenticity. I'm hopeful to explore more of how spaces can shape the show. I think that is beautiful. That is beautiful. When you are interviewing the artist in their atelier, it is different because this is the place where they have spent most of their days thinking. This is the place where they have spent most of their time thinking and spend time in that space. And now they have more deep stories to tell you. If you pick the artist from their atelier, put him to a random new box, random new chair, it's not the same person. You don't have the same stories. Help people pass their cash. I'm keen to talk about pushing people past their cache or the default programming they have repeated. So many of our conversations are sharing pre-articulated talking points back and forth. The best conversations happen when both parties go somewhere new together. I aim to prompt people on domains I know they have spent a lot of time pondering within and get them to color a bit outside the lines. Jump into the deep end. Like Patrick O'Shaughnessy, jump in at 90 miles per hour, which might catch some guests a little off guard, but leads more quickly to a richer discussion and sets the tone for the level of depth. I can't say I started doing this consciously, but in trying to avoid the traditional "what's your story" opening question, I've landed here. I love it. I don't like "what's your story." I don't like "what's your story." That's the difference between, are you trying to be like a CNBC or are you trying to be a really human conversation? I think "what's your story" can also get to a very human conversation, but it feels business-like. It feels like it's a business versus a conversation that just straight jumps into that, hey, the most important question. I think that's pretty cool. Avoid the traditional "what's your story" opening question. I've landed here. It's also a good way to establish quick credibility. We all take time to settle in contrast to the above, and I have yet to solve this. Many of the episodes are at their best in the back half. This should be obvious. Great conversations take a bit of time to find their rhythm. Perhaps this simply means longer raw conversations with more editing. We'll see. niche at scale. Despite the temptation for infinite reach, this is what the internet is really about. Henrik Carlson. Oh, we are Henrik Carlson stuff. Calls a blog post a search query for finding your people. Dialectic has blown me away in the ways that it's found people that resonate with me and the people I talk to. Search query. Let the world conspire to help you. From world-class podcasters to unexpected internet friends and strangers, I have been blessed by the range of people who have reached out to help Dialectic in small and huge ways. People want to help you when you are doing your thing. There's nothing like writing. But please listen to my podcast. In seriousness, I love interviewing writers because of how great that medium is at compressing someone's ideas. Alex Stanko's framing of a collaboration between a writer and their readers and how ideas are shared as output of that. When I talk to writers, I feel privileged to help them expand their ideas and articulate them for other audiences. Structure the right accountability for yourself. Ben Thompson talked with David Perel about his JD writing model and how he might never write a book because he needs the atomic constraint to publish. Willpower can be overrated and the right constraints underrated. I know that I will do the work to prepare for an interview because I care so deeply about honoring the other person's time and generosity to do it. Willpower can be overrated and the right constraints underrated. Directing and editing is hard. I now know why Sean Baker is a rare breed. I struggle to materially cut content from the raw conversations with a few exceptions. It's definitely a muscle, but similarly writing and editing require fundamentally different approaches. It's tempting to be precious when you co-created the thing. Perhaps separate roles is the ideal setup. Making the thing you want. I realize this advice has probably been overblown, but for good reason. I make a 2+ hour interview podcast with fairly esoteric, rich, niche, internet famous guests. It's no consistent pattern of guests, no set category, with no video and only detailed show notes and links. Many of the decisions haven't been hard because it's what I would like to listen to. Ideas in action. I will leave it to listeners to be the judge, but as much as I try to understand someone by way of their ideas, I also try to ground the conversations in the implications of those ideas. My favorite thinkers are those who have a tight feedback loop between thinking and doing. I also try to ground the conversation in the implications of those ideas. My favorite thinkers are those in the implications of those ideas. My favorite thinkers are those who have a tight feedback loop between thinking and doing. A tight feedback loop between thinking and doing. Make the thing you... Wait, again? No. Okay. Humanity shines. This is my North Star. How can I get people talking about the stuff that makes their eyes light up? In a world that increasingly wants to reduce all friction and automate everything, including ourselves, humanity blazes brightly. Have you considered video? If you start a podcast, people, and by that I mean literally every single person you talk to will suggest that you do video and short form clips from it. More than that soon. It's nice to try another mind on. It's a lovely experience to funnel your attention through another person's thoughts for a little while. Biographies can do this, but even autobiographies give you the export of someone else's, even a subject synthesis of their thinking. I recommend deep diving the available inputs and seeing what threads you find in the pools of a person's mind. All right. I think that's it. Investor behavior on pivots. Nolan archive, interstellar aspect ratio comparison. Coding assistant breakdown, Supabase, alliance teaser. Wait, that's the same. Dwarkesh Patel. Question for Stephen Levine. High single interview questions, good prompt to propose technical or strategic questions to shape the convo. Wait, did you just repeat stuff? I think Perplexity repeated, but anyways, that's stream. Thank you. 2 hours, wow.